Well, this week in New York, there was a tribute to the October 7 Nova Festival music victims. These were innocent people, all young people, who were slaughtered in cold blood on October 7. Women were raped, bodies were mutilated. It's actually incomprehensible that anyone could disagree with a tribute to commemorate such tragic loss of life. Yet in New York, there was a mob of anti-Semitic protesters who rallied outside the tribute with flares and aggressively charged chants of "Long live the Intifada" and "Israel go to hell." Have a look. Outside a tribute to people who had died, who were killed in cold blood. Look, that protest was part of an entire day of protest in New York. And on the subway, protesters yelled, "Raise your hand if you're a Zionist. This is your chance to get out." It's unbelievable.
Raise your hand if you're a Zionist! Raise your hand if you're a Zionist! This is your chance to get out! This is your chance to get out!
New York Mayor Eric Adams gave a strong speech and described all of this as pure anti-Semitism.
It was disgusting what we saw, and you cannot call for peace while you're celebrating what happened on October 7th.
Now, these protests are not pro-Palestinian. It is simply racism against Jews. It's a chilling celebration of terrorism, with some of the protesters carrying Hamas or Hezbollah flags. The Wall Street Journal editorial board pointed out that anti-Israel protesters wouldn't even let a tribute to Israelis murdered at the Nova Music Festival be held in peace. The editorial said President Biden's waffling on the moral justification of Israel's war to destroy Hamas has emboldened the pro-Hamas left in the US. And this is exactly what we've seen with the Albanese government here in Australia. This is what I've been talking about. When political leaders criticise Israel more than the terrorists that Israel is fighting, despite evidence clearly showing that Israel goes above and beyond to abide by international law. That is what the evidence shows. Well, when the Albanese government does that, when Joe Biden does it, it gives a green light to extremists and anti-Semites. And this is part of the reason we're seeing extremism and a rise of anti-Semitism globally, because of weak political leadership. Well, let's bring in now founding editor of Quillette, Claire Lehman, and Sky News commentator Jason Morrison. Welcome to you both. Claire, what do you think of this utter moral, it's not even moral confusion, it's people who have lost all morals when they can't let a tribute to people who've been murdered just go in peace?
Yeah, it was a real mask-off moment, wasn't it, Sharri? And I think it's true, these people are vicious, absolutely vicious anti-Semites, but they're more than that. They're anti-Western, they're anti-civilization. And I think we should frame this problem not just in terms of racism and anti-Semitism, but these people want to destroy everything we hold dear. They want to destroy democracy. They want to destroy not just Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East, but they would like to see all liberal democracies destroyed. They have Marxist sympathies. Their news organisations are sympathetic to Iran. They're sympathetic to Russia. They're sympathetic to dictators and autocrats. So we have to name these vicious mobsters as anti-civilization, not just anti-Semitic.
I think it's a really good point, because we do often speak about this as mainly a problem affecting the Jewish community, but you're completely right, Claire.
It affects all of us.
It affects all of us, and it also seeks to destroy the very values that underpin our society, the very values that Australian soldiers sacrificed their lives fighting for in our previous wars. Jason?
Yeah, I see it, and I think these people have a disorder. And most of them are lemmings. They don't think about issues. They follow the pack, and they follow some real bent individuals. And their hatreds are so ill-defined. They just seem to just hate. And if they weren't at this one about the Jews, they'd be at something else about another group of people or another minority. And of course, the irony of we'll call it the ideological far left, is they kind of think they're better than everyone else. They're rats, and they behave like rats, and they should be treated like them. And I'm kind of amazed that we have this tolerance for this crap. I really am.
I agree. I think the political leadership does have an unacceptable tolerance for this. And I think if it were any other community, Anthony Albanese wouldn't put up with it. But he somehow is condoning it. And you know why? Because he was once a pro-Palestinian protester himself at a rally where American and Israeli flags were burned. And I've shown you those clips, and I'm going to keep reporting on that.